Have you ever stopped to think about why bad things happen to good people? Today, we're going to explore one of the most fascinating and profound stories of all time, the journey of Job. Imagine losing everything you love and still holding on to faith. This goes beyond a simple ancient tale. It's a compelling narrative that challenges our deepest convictions. Let's unravel the mysteries of Job, a man who faced the unimaginable and remained steadfast. So, join us and discover how this ancient story still resonates powerfully in our lives today. In this ancient biblical story from the book of Job, we find a man named Job who lived in the region known as Uz. He was prosperous with a large family and vast herds. Job was known for his integrity and righteousness. He feared God and shunned evil. In Uz lived a man named Job, renowned for his integrity and honesty. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, along with a great number of sheep, camels, oxen, donkeys, and servants. Job was considered the greatest man in the East. Job's children used to celebrate their birthdays with feasts at their homes, where they invited their 3 sisters to join them for eating and drinking. After each celebration, Job would perform a purification ritual for his children. Early in the morning, he would offer a burnt sacrifice for each of them with the concern in mind, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This was a regular practice of Job, as described in verses 1 through 5 of the first chapter. God praised Job's virtues before Satan. However, Satan argued that Job was upright only because God greatly favored him. One day, the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan was among them. The Lord asked Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan replied, "Roaming throughout the earth and observing all that happens in it." Then the Lord mentioned to Satan about Job, highlighting his integrity and righteousness. Satan questioned whether Job feared God for no reason, pointing out that God protected and blessed him abundantly. These dialogues between God and Satan are recorded in the book of Job, chapter 1, verses 6 to 10. Satan challenged God, claiming that if he were allowed to inflict suffering on Job, he would change his attitude and curse God. God consented to let Satan afflict Job to test this bold claim, but commanded him not to take Job's life. "All right," said the Lord to Satan, "everything Job has is in your power, but you must not lay a hand on him personally." So Satan left the Lord's presence. These events are reported in the book of Job, chapter 1, verses 11 and 12. Job received 4 devastating news in a single day. His sheep, servants, and all his 10 children were killed, either by marauding raiders or natural disasters. While his sons and daughters were feasting and enjoying themselves at the eldest brother's house, messengers came bringing the tragic news. The first messenger reported that the Sabaeans attacked, taking away the oxen and killing the servants. The second messenger told that fire from God fell from the heavens, burning up the sheep and servants. Soon after, a third messenger informed that the Chaldeans raided the camels, also killing the servants. Lastly, another messenger arrived with the dreadful news that a mighty wind struck the house where his children were, and all of them perished. In his mourning, Job tore his robe and shaved his head, yet he still knelt down and worshipped God, saying, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." Despite all this tragedy, Job did not sin or blame God for anything. Later, Satan returns to heaven, and God allows him to test Job again. This time, Job is afflicted with painful sores all over his body. His wife encourages him to curse God and give up on life, but Job remains steadfast, enduring his sufferings. 2 intertwined narratives, one celestial and the other earthly, unfold skillfully in Job's saga. The events on earth are reflections of what happened in heaven, a dynamic akin to the celestial warfare described in the book of Revelation. 3 of Job's friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, come to offer him comfort, remaining silently by his side for 7 days, honoring the weight of his grief. On the 7th day, Job begins a profound dialogue, expressing his pain poetically. He curses the day of his birth, likening life to light and death to darkness, wishing he had never existed. His friends, in turn, try to find explanations for his suffering, suggesting that he must have sinned to deserve such punishment. Job, however, does not accept these conclusions. He grows angry with their words, calling them worthless physicians who try to help him with falsehoods. Job longs to confront God directly, questioning why he judges based on human actions when his wisdom is so vast and mysterious. Job's agony leads him to seek a mediator between him and God, someone who can testify to his integrity. He firmly believes in a Redeemer who will plead his case in heaven. Despite his pain, Job maintains his faith, seeking wisdom in fearing God and shunning evil even when faced with an unjust fate. Finally, God interrupts the divine dialogue after the first round. After 36 requests from Job for God to speak to him, his wish is granted. And on 2 occasions, God responds, engaging in a storm, which adds a touch of humor to the scene. God reminds Job of his sovereignty as the creator of all things, highlighting his magnificent work in the world and questioning whether Job could match it. He then questions whether Job is in a position to judge, suggesting that it is too presumptuous for a human to desire divine explanations. Job humbly acknowledges his insignificance before God, placing his hand over his mouth in silence. In the second encounter, God does not speak about himself as the creator, but about 2 of his creatures, the hippopotamus and the crocodile, in a manner that seems almost humorous. He reminds Job that not even the animal world can be fully understood by man, let alone the mysteries of life and suffering. God's central point is clear: questioning his purposes is a futile endeavor. Job now realizes his inadequacy before God and deeply repents. Although the encounter is humiliating for Job, the book addresses the issue of human suffering, with God using Job's experience to teach not only him but all humanity about his nature and the value of life. In the conclusion, God rebukes Job's friends for their inappropriate words and asks Job to pray for them. When Job intercedes for his friends, he himself is restored and blessed abundantly. He lived another 140 years, witnessed 4 generations of his family, and departed from this life in peace and contentment. The Book of Job does not fit into conventional molds of a theology manual, although it is filled with significant theological truths. Nor is it a simple cautionary tale about sin, although it addresses the theme of sin and divine justice. And despite delving deeply into the issue of human suffering, it does not offer a definitive answer to all questions about this complex theme. In fact, the Book of Job is a work of art, a poetic expression that challenges and inspires. It invites us to confront difficult questions and motivates us to seek a deeper understanding of divine wisdom. Instead of providing easy answers, it encourages us to explore the complexities of life and faith.